Hello.
Hello, everybody.
There's a few people in here.
Yeah, it's really going up a storm. What? It's just rushing by. What am I trying to say? I don't know.
Why is my sheets all hidden? Let's expose the sheet for all to see. There we go.
It begins.
It begins.
Ha 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 ha. Camdaf.
So this isn't actually the final new overlay, but it is it's getting there. I mean, obviously we have a different overlay because we have a sheet in front of us that we have to deal with today.
Wow! That's so crazy.
So I didn't make it as pretty as I would have liked, but it'll hopefully get better as time goes on.
I think it looks really pretty, John.
No. So hello, everybody. I've made Soul Search thoroughly self-conscious about spelling my name. So
Oh boy.
that was a mistake that I made earlier today. Scott is drinking apple juice.
Apple juice and white wine.
Adult
Wait,
apple
what?
juice.
I can't go.
So greetings. If you weren't here last week we actually had a chance to come up with Elizabeth's character, the Lady Sophia. And now we have a new blank character sheet in front of us. And how... Oh, you want things to line up, do you? It's just too fucking bad. I mean, wait.
Oh my god. Oh, I mean, Diamondback. I don't know what you're gonna do, but I'm so excited.
I could make it line up. Let's just do that. There we go.
I don't know. Guys, what?
There. Now it lines up, but you'll notice that it doesn't line up with me. See?
Aww.
See?
What? Whoa!
Scott get firearms and got cheered for it. Well,
Oh shit. What's happening? Overlayer of the year. Oh boy. Well, now I feel pressured. Hey, you guys aren't building this character. I'm building this character.
we'll see about that.
Oh shit.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just to begin, first I will encourage anybody who is following Low on Twitter. That is at Real Larry D. Go and have a look. Go and follow his Twitter as he will be doing some cool ass shit. Thank you, Diamondback. I appreciate that.
Woo!
So if you are at all interested in what his interpretation of Scott's character looks like, he's the guy to check. Next up, in case you don't know what we're doing here, Exaltwitch is indeed, sadly, coming to a close, as all good things must come to an end. However, that doesn't mean that the games have to stop. We are going to move on to a new game. We are going to be playing Changeling the Dreaming, the 20th Anniversary Edition, which is in fact not even yet available. But,
how did we get?
Well, because we backed the campaign.
Yeah.
That's how we did it. But we also have one of the writers for Changeling in the chat right now. Say hello to Krister. Krister is listed all up in them credits, so you can even check him out and make sure that he's not lying to us.
Damn, man. It's impressive.
So we have now in front of us an opportunity. We already have one character built. Let's see if I can actually bring that up just so that we can have a look at it quickly.
Ooh.
Now, one of the things that I want to make absolutely clear, just because it's... Oh, here it is. Let's shrink that so that we can actually see what we're doing here.
JT, hello.
Hello, JT. Hello. One of the things that I do want to emphasize is that nothing on these sheets is currently set in stone. My players have the right to make changes as they see fit. Right up until this first session, and even after the first session, they'll be allowed to change things on their sheet as long as it hasn't made too much of an effect on the game already, just to take into account that there are times where sometimes you didn't think of things perfect. 3 places: writers, playtesters, and based on the original works. Only one question for this character: fancy shirt or no fancy shirt?
Stick around. You'll hopefully have that answer by the end of the stream.
Scaly scarf unfurled, taking your seat in on the stage of the world. Wisps of dreams weaving the strings, chorus calling, potential unseen. Future hopes yet to be, her turn muses kiss, but only to the clean.
Liz, take that down. Plucky hero, save that shit.
Hashtag fancy boxers.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
So if you look on your screen right now, you'll actually see a representation of Liz's sheet. You'll notice that she's created a social primary character, an Autumn She, someone who has very little in the way of combat ability, but otherwise is pretty well rounded. That's a Chaos Cat right there.
Sure is.
Somebody who has a considerable amount of resources. She has Title 2. She's a member of House Liam. She is Seelie, a Wilder. And she has 1 dot that she has not spent yet. 1 freebie point, I should say, that she hasn't spent. She's holding that in reserve. Maybe she'll make other changes so that she'll be able to shift that point around where she likes, but for now it's something to remember. But that sheet... Go ahead.
No, I was just saying we were tossing around possible merits and flaws last night as well, Liz and I, for Sophia, like for the Lady Sophia, to kind of free up some more freebie points or to sort of use them on merits and stuff. So that might change a little bit in the coming weeks.
A Soul Calibur intro. Hold on. I have to read this as if it was a Soul Calibur intro now. Scarf unfurled, taking her seat in on the stage of the world. Wisps of dreams weaving the strings. Chorus calling potential unseen. Future hopes yet to be. Her tune muses kiss, but only to the clean. But the soul still burns.
Oh shit.
Let's make this sheet disappear. We've got a new sheet that we have to worry about now.
Oh my goodness.
So the first thing that we're going to do on this sheet, we're going to make sure that we know who's playing today. Again, we're also not going. I'm not going to make this sheet as like I did the last one. I'm actually filling out a fillable PDF, which is not complete. You'll notice that there's no nightmare section here. This is a sheet that we got off Mr. Gone's website, and it will do for our purposes today, but we'll clean it up and make it look super nice when we post it later.
A Selkie that can't swim would be the greatest thing
A Selkie
ever.
that can't swim, I would argue, would start accumulating banality real fucking fast. God damn. God damn. Mr. Gone sheets are awesome. I just don't think he's had a chance to do a Changeling 20th yet. This was actually based on V20, which is why it has things like no dodge, but it lacks a couple of things that it should, and some of the drop-down menus contain things that are weird. So Captain Daff, this is a sheet that has all the right stuff on it. It just doesn't have room for Nightmare, but it has all the right abilities on it, so we're going to use it for now.
Ripley, don't go there, buddy. Come here.
There you go. You already know what's going on. So, Scott.
Yes. Hello.
You've been thinking about your character so far?
Have I what? My character so far? What?
Have you thought about your character so far?
You know, I thought I would just play it by ear.
Just wing it?
Kind of see what... Can you imagine if I was just like, whatever?
Or you can do what a player of mine once accused me of doing with an NPC, where I just took a bottle of ink and spilled it on the page and was like, all right, there we go.
So you'd have like 5 dots in one clump of things and then nothing in the... Anyway. Okay.
Yeah. essentially.
Yeah, I have actually. I have I kind of oh my god. Sorry guys. Yes, I had a desire to do something different from Jorik, and I was trying to be inspired by some other media. So yeah, I've been thinking about it, and I kind of
What
mocked
have you
some
been
stuff
thinking
up, and
about?
I have concepts and such.
All right. So, as Aragorn is throwing down, step 1, concept. Choose concept, kith, court, legacy, seeming, house.
House.
So,
House.
what were you thinking about playing? I mean, we already know about Liz, but we don't know about you.
That's it, right? So in terms of like a concept, I haven't sort of whittled it down to that sort of really awesome 4 or 5 word kind of description yet, but I was thinking about a crusading knight of old, very fey. So a warrior who used to be part of a famed group, like, renowned for their bravery and their deeds.
Right.
This group has gone. I don't know. Are they dead? Are they gone? We don't know. So this warrior is now kind of just washed up and hoping to reclaim some of his former glory.
All right. I like this. I like where this is going.
Ooh.
So, concept, dejected pervert.
Wait. Okay, moving on. No, John, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's on the sheet. I can't get rid of it. It's
I can't
there.
fix that.
I've seen everything.
Yeah.
Were you thinking of a specific kith?
Yes, a troll, because I feel like that sort of embodies a lot of the things that I wanted to do with the character, right? Which has to do with strength and defending others and honor and loyalty.
Honor, loyalty. Now you were talking about somebody who's kind of old, something who's washed up. Am I to imply then that you were looking at perhaps a grump?
Yes. Now, in terms of the sort of, oh my god, guys, I'm trying to keep up with this, but it's not happening. In terms of a mortal age and grump, I think corresponds to quite a wide range of ages. Is my understanding?
Yes. So here's what seeming means for those of you who may be catching up. A changeling goes through 3 phases in their life, usually. I mean, sometimes they just straight up die before they get a chance, but here we go.
Well,
you have childlings, wilders, and grumps. It used to be that was kind of dependent on your mortal age to a certain degree, or at least how you appeared. So a childling was a child. A wilder was somebody between the ages of like 13, 14, and 25. And if you looked older than that, if you were 26 or older, you would be a grump. But now it's more about your outlook. It's more about the way that you interact with the world itself, your relationship with glamour and banality. So it's your frame of mind, as Diamondback just said.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be an age thing, Soul Search, but it's not anymore. Now age is something a little more definitive, but it doesn't have anything to do with your seeming. So, you're a grump. That's good to know. We'll be able to fill in the information about what that will do to affect you later on.
Putting this in as we go, if that's okay as well, John. I'm doing the same thing.
Now, do you have a name for your character?
I'm gonna leave it. I have
love
some
the
ideas.
size. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know.
Well, it's. I mean, John, look, you've played enough games with me.
I can't name characters for shit, and I write for a living, so like, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's true. I have an idea, but I'm gonna leave it for now just to see if it keeps kind of working with what we build, if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah, at the moment, no wildling stallions, so sorry. No air guitar for you, Captain Daff.
I like to think he's a grump who wants to go back to being a wilder. That's what I like to think.
I'm down for that. I'm certainly down for that. So, Have you thought about what court you're looking at? Seelie versus unseelie?
Yes, I feel like, unless something really awful has happened, not really awful, but unless something has happened to him recently, he'd definitely be, not clinging to, he'd really be aligned with the Seelie court, and he'd be really aligned with order, honor, love,
Love
the
conquers
finer
all.
things, if you will.
That's two Seelie characters that we've got going for us here.
So I
As
hope
we
Kate
see here.
gets the bat up. What?
That's fine. Kate can do whatever the fuck she wants. So the court, for people out there in Chatland, your court involves kind of what side of the political spectrum your changeling falls on at that point. The Seelie court, much more concerned with things like duty, honor, and love, whereas the Unseelie court is much more concerned with passion, change, and the freedom of glamour. The two courts used to be bitter enemies. Now they may still be, but at least individuals aren't quite as like hardlined. It is now much more common for you to be able to have friends or allies who cross the lines, and of course, changelings can change their political alliances as well. Kate is definitely going to be on Seelie. We've seen Val. Val's actually a very good example of Seelie taken to a certain level of extreme.
Yeah, because Seelie Unseelie isn't good bad. That was when I first was learning about Changeling from John. Like that was my first misconception because I feel like it's painted that way often, but that's not. It's more of the like order chaos spectrum from D&D. More like
The Shadow
not
Court
100%.
doesn't exist, Kung Fu Fenris.
Yeah, I don't know who told you Kung Fu.
All right, so then we have to determine your legacies.
Ooh, these are always fun.
Now, your legacies are tied to your willpower regeneration. It's also sort of meant to be as a role-playing assist in some cases. But essentially what you're doing here is you're picking two legacies, one of which will come to the fore because that'll be your primary legacy, your Seelie legacy, and
Right.
one of which will be your Unseelie legacy, which you can either smother or you can let it influence you to a certain degree. And if you ever change courts, then your primary and secondary legacy switch.
Mm-hmm. And then, sorry, just if I may, John, just out of curiosity, like what was I going to say? Yeah, so mechanically, right? You regain willpower by sort of completing the quest of your primary legacy, and then you have to avoid the ban.
Yes.
Unless you can justify it using your Unseelie, like
That's correct. Unless you can justify
secondary.
using your secondary.
Okay, interesting.
So, have you thought about your legacies?
I have.
All
I
right,
have, because I was kind of building on this idea of, someone who wanted to. Oh my God, cats! You're crazy.
Dim cats.
Yeah. That. Oh my God. Hoping to sort of get back out into the world and sort of reclaim some of this former glory, which was all like probably very trial based and combat based, and helping people and so on. So I was looking at Paladin as a Seelie, as a primary legacy, which I think kind of captures a lot about what I was looking at, which is fun.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that really jumped out at me for
All right.
Oh, was there something else? I'm just nope.
So to give people an idea, the paladin lives for the thrill of challenge, monsters to slay, enemies to wrestle, causes to champion. These are her life's blood. She is brave, stalwart, and ready to triumph over anything. Constantly on the lookout for worthy challenges, when she overcomes one adversary, she moves right on to the next. The one thing the paladin can't do is sit idle. For that opposition to define her, she becomes listless, hardly able to carry on. So your quest is you regain willpower when you overcome a truly challenging obstacle. Your ban is never refuse a fair challenge.
I
do have a signed copy of the Book of Lost Houses. You're damn right. I'm proud of that book. It did not make the trip with me to Austin yet. I left it in the care of, I think, you guys, actually, to be honest. Just because I couldn't take all of my books with me, but I still have it. Oh, I still have it.
Don't worry.
I've got to send Kate like $100 care package just to get someone to get a gun. We have not ruled out guns yet. Don't you?
Look, man,
Don't
I'm
worry
convinced
yet.
that if someone was like, "I'll protect you," they'd have a gun. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying melee weapons aren't effective.
We haven't even gotten to that section, and I'm also not going to force Scott to do shit. Anyway, did you have an idea for your unseelie legacy?
I had an idea. I'm just taking a quick little peeky-doo through the PDF to see if there's one that strikes me as more interesting or that works a bit better.
Okay.
So there's two. Currently, I'm looking at both Beast and Ringleader.
All right. So the beast lives to conquer her foes. Everyone falls into two categories: those who bow before her and those destroyed for refusing. If something exists, it exists for her pleasure. If it displeases her, it didn't deserve to exist. The beast isn't mindless fury, however. To achieve her ends, she'll play the long game, manipulating her enemies against each other. Little is as entertaining to her as watching her adversaries dance to a tune she orchestrated. Your quest is to regain willpower when you remove significant opposition to your goals. Your ban is to never retreat, never forfeit that which is yours. And the other one was Ringleader?
Yeah.
Among her crew, the Ringleader's rule is undisputed. With brutal expertise, she instills in her subordinates submission to her and loyalty to her cause. If any underlings dare step out of line, they become a harrowing example of what not to do. The Ringleader wields her group as a weapon, honed to further her own agenda. They are the collective expression of her will. When you use your followers to accomplish your goal, regain willpower, never allow anyone to threaten your organization or goals.
I don't know why that one had jumped out at me before. It doesn't really make sense. I think it would make sense if that motley was still around, or if this guy has managed to like capture a group, but like has a group, you know. But I think based on what I'm looking at in terms of like a starting point for sort of where he's coming from in his history, I think Beast is probably much closer.
Paladin Beast is a pretty common legacy structure that I see. That's not to say that it's a bad one. But essentially it means that you are ready to defeat people for the side of good, but then when it slides down, it's defeating people for the sake of being the winner. Does that sound about correct for you?
Yep. Sure does.
Right. So Beast lets itself in on that sheet. Now, there's one more element of this sheet that we haven't touched on yet, and that's house. If you are a knight, you are a knight of a house. Are you planning on taking the background title?
Yes, as much as
yes.
No, as much as like John, the exalted dot pools, I'm so friggin' spoiled, man. I was like 753. What the hell?
Yeah, seriously.
Anyway, that's something else. As much as those, I know those background points are going to go real fast. Yes, I think it's kind of integral that this person and this group would have been inducted into a noble house.
You guys are going to be getting a whole bunch of experience. Like you'll find that it'll start filling the holes pretty quickly. You're just going to have to get used to the fact that you aren't going to have 17 dice in your pool to roll. You'll have like 6 dice is going to be a pretty good pool.
I'm into that.
So, did you think of a house that you wanted to be a part of? Now, remember that you can technically pick any house. It doesn't have to be a Seelie one.
Ooh.
But
yeah,
there are certain houses that I might strongly encourage you to stay away from. If you're Seelie, for instance, I would not recommend House Baelor. They don't tend to treat their Seelie members well to the point of keeping them alive.
Oh boy.
So
I'm looking at the little sort of the mini descriptions right now, so that I'm not being influenced by the mechanical benefits and drawbacks. Not that those aren't great.
No, but that's still a totally legit way of doing it.
Because I was trying to think about, what would cause someone to be inducted into, like, if you're a commoner, right?
Right.
Presumably it's a deed of some kind that you did that would kind of cause you to be inducted into a house, right? Like a usefulness, right? But I wonder what kinds of, how various houses would decide on these things. I must have missed this moment from Liz's character creation, but I feel like she was saying that her character may have received her title just for like being good at music or something.
Yeah. So here's how it works. Depending on the house, houses value different deeds in different ways, right?
Makes sense.
But generally, you gain title either through service to a house or through accomplishment, and the house wishes to reward you for that accomplishment. It's also kind of like bragging rights, right? Like, if you are like, look, we've got the finest chef in all of Concordia, and you give him a title because you're like, the finest chef in all of Concordia is our house. Like, that is often a reason to do it. Like, the feudal system can be as it can be as kind to you or as like petty to you as you see fit, because there's plenty of times where someone will be like, oh, he got his title because he banged the countess a couple of times and she just really likes him. Or it could be like, he got his title because the countess was in desperate need of somebody to free her entire freehold of Thelaine, and he went in and kicked all of their asses at great peril of his own life, so she granted him the title, right? Like,
right. No, it's true.
There can be a couple of different reasons. What you've sort of talked about for your character would lead me to believe that you're probably leaning more towards like deed or accomplishment as opposed to like frivolous, because the other thing is you're a commoner. Now, in 20th edition, they did make some changes and said that it's now more common for commoners to have title, but it's still not it's not an absolutely common kind of thing. For the most part, most of the people with title are going to be she.
Okay.
Liz also specifically picked House Liam because she's an autumn she. So she stayed behind. She didn't go back to Arcadia, or like her group did not, right?
Right.
So that explains partially why she picked that particular house. You are not required to pick the same house as her, obviously.
It's always something in this house, John. It's always something. Well, I'm just looking at this list, and there's like
Crosshair.
Actually,
we have the only heavy armor marksman in the land. Crosshair, I will tell you that in my Changeling Chronicles, and Scott can back this up, guns are relatively common.
Yes.
They're very effective weapons.
Yep. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with that, right? Like, projectile weapons can kill people at a distance. I'm just putting that out there. Okay.
Yep.
So, okay, John, I'm gonna be really pedantic and like go through this bit by bit, because
we've got time. We've got an hour and a half left.
Woo! Got other stuff to do too, but I don't know. I wonder if this choice is going to kind of make the character, or just sort of be something that I'm going to put in my back pocket for a moment or two.
Right.
Okay.
I also have a suggestion for you before you go through the houses. You said that you wanted to be a member of a group, right? You wanted to be known as somebody who had a very specific sort of like, this is part of who he is, right?
Yeah. I wonder if they're still around. Just FYI.
Now, it's funny because they've changed this in C20, but the first thing that I would have thought of would be a member of the Red Branch.
Okay.
Now, the Red Branch, they're knights whose job it was essentially to go out and do good. Like, their job was like, if there was trouble, they would be like, their duty was to be like, all right, so trouble, I'm here, I'm in. It was High King David's elite branch of knights. Yes, Krister
Wow.
throws it out there. The thing is that we can totally work with that if you are interested, and that you can also say that the Red Branch potentially has fallen on hard times, or even maybe has disbanded, or if not disbanded, that like a scandal could have come up about that. Like, I'm flexible as to what you might want to do with that. But specifically, the Red Branch are associated with House Gwyian.
That was definitely one that jumped out at me from this list. Like, I know there's a lot happening in the chat in terms of houses and stuff, and I gotta throw this out there, guys. Like, I am loving the suggestions, because this is the kind of system where I want to build like 8 characters just so I can have, a
Hey,
House
you
Fiona,
can, and
like,
then pick which one that you want. But
yes. But I think that, okay, so the Red Branch, I'm going to jump to the Gwyian section, John, if that's
I'll also
okay.
point out that the Red Branch, just because the crosshair will mention it potentially, the Red Branch very specifically train in both melee and firearms.
Yay! Okay.
That's a very specific part of it.
Interesting. So, actually, that's fun too, because I'm just looking at factions now under the thing here, and then there's the Red Branch.
Mm-hmm.
The People's Voice is a small but vocal group that actively encourages discourse between nobles and commoners, which I think is interesting. I think
That's more of a political group than it would be like a group of knights kind of thing.
Mhm. Well, it's just nice to know that sort of, I mean, those people would exist anywhere, right? But
Right.
that exists already within House Gwyian.
Yes.
I'm feeling this, like, this is
Feel it.
High King David's house, right? If I'm
Yes.
not mistaken.
Yes, High King David is
friggin'
House
sweet.
Gwyian. Although High King
Um,
David, have you read what's changed with High King David?
Ooh, I don't think
So-
I have.
He hasn't disappeared in the metagame for Changeling second edition. After a while, he had just straight up disappeared, and there was a 4-way contention for the throne. But in this one, he disappeared for a while, and then he came back. But there's something off about him, and it's not sure what it is.
Ooh, how mysterious.
How mysterious! Oh my!
Ooh, my. I am definitely looking at House Gwyian. John, is there anything I need to record here, or should I just record that information
So
for now?
I will put down in your House Gwyian for now. Remember that we can change it, right? There's nothing that says that it has to stay that way. But I'm going to put Gwyian, and I'm going to tentatively put Red Branch. The boy toys. Oh yeah.
Eric. Sorry. You're reading this too, eh, John? Yeah?
Oh yeah.
The boy
Totally.
toys?
Jumarect.
Hashtag Jorect. I love it. Okay.
Aragorn, don't worry. I now officially guarantee that they will meet a boy toy one day.
Yes.
One day.
Yes.
So one thing that you should know, if you are a member of House Gwyian, your boon. House Gwyian holds itself to a high standard. They expect no less from those around them. Members of House Gwyian can sense whether someone is speaking the truth or telling a lie, with a successful perception kenning roll versus the liar's manipulation subterfuge. You can't use it on House Island.
Okay.
Your flaw, however, is that your honor is paramount, and you will not forget a slight, nor will you forgive it. If anyone insults the honor of a Gwyian or her house, the Gwyian must take revenge commensurate with the slight before the next sunrise or suffer a banality trigger.
Wow.
So this is a change. It used to be that you'd fly into a death rage. So
Oh boy.
that has changed. My favorite society, Krister, is the Unbroken Circle, actually. But that's just me.
Wow. That's so crazy. Before the next sunrise.
Before the next sunrise. So the thing is that it's a commensurate thing. So if somebody comes up and be like, Gwyian, they suck. Like, that might be like, slug 'em, right? But if somebody literally comes up to you and says, like, you have absolutely no honor, you have proven yourself to be completely unworthy in the eyes of the dreaming and all assembled here, you might have to challenge them to a duel. You might have to prove that this person has no honor and therefore doesn't know what they're saying, or kill him, or like exact punishment on his body. Like you have to do it, or you can suck it up, but you might gain banality as a result.
Right.
So never
damn it.
insult one of these guys at 5:30 a.m. They have to like keep their fists up because if somebody says anything like,
I gotta do it right now. Sir Kevin. Aragorn, we're gonna talk.
yes, Zuko intensifies. That's not a bad way to look at it. So that is your house boon and flaw.
Excellent.
All right, we're moving on to dots.
Loving it. Oh,
Everybody
I'm loving
loves
it.
dots.
Dots.
Go for it. Physical, social, mental. Assign one as primary, one as secondary, and one as tertiary.
Physical, mental, social. In that order, please.
Awesome. You have 7 dots to assign to your physical. Now, you are a troll.
Aye.
So one thing that I shall point out is that you have Titan's power. A troll grows most in power when they're out fulfilling their duties. A troll gains an additional bruised health level and dot of strength when they take up their first oath, even if that takes the trait above 5. Upon their second oath, the troll gains 2 extra dots of strength and 2 additional bruised health levels. So
good.
I take this to mean, and Krister can correct me on this, it doesn't mean you get 3 extra strength, it means you get 2 extra strength. And 2 extra health levels, as opposed to you gain 1, then you gain 2
Like
more.
cumulative. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
That'd be fucking nuts! And yes, these dots can take you past the limit. So much like how the she can be, the hottest in all the land, trolls can have a theoretical maximum strength of 7 or even 8 if you have certain merits. But
Oh my god. Okay. Well then, I might hold back some freebie points.
I'm gonna hold them back. Yeah, you don't have to spend freebie points yet. I'm just looking for things. So I'm going to assume that you're a grump and that you've probably served more than one oath in your lifetime. So
Well,
I'm gonna-
actually, that's a yeah. Is
Go
that
ahead.
like active oaths? Like, how does that? Do you know what I mean? I can't remember what it says now.
No, I don't believe it needs to be an active.
Oh shit!
oath. I don't think. Maybe I'm not actually sure.
Take up their first
They
oath.
stack. Holy shit, Krister! What?
What? Holy crap!
God damn!
I mean, if 5 is
So
like,
you can get up to strength 8? Fuck me.
+1 if you take.
Also, yeah,
strength
is it
Titans or
is
whatever.
it when they're out fulfilling their duties, or is it just like when they fulfill an oath?
Oh, see page 264 for more on oaths. Don't mind if I do. Doesn't really say much.
Holy shit nuggets!
Guys, I want biceps
so,
up to here.
That is so much strength. Holy fuck! Strength 8.
Crunch.
I could punch a hole in the world. All right. Tell you what, we're gonna
punch a
wait.
hole.
We're gonna get some confirmation on that. Remember that this game is, still technically like there are errata that has to be made for this game. Like they released it. It's not complete yet. So we're not going to add your strength just yet, but you'll know that you will most likely get some extra strength.
Like 1 or more, yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Krister. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this also this strength is it can be granted to you, but you might also lose it. So you might not want to put like a 1 in strength just because.
Right. I buy that.
Yeah.
Well then, in that case, if I have 7 points and I start with 1 in each of my physical attributes, I'm gonna go 3 to strength to take me to 4. 3 in stamina to take me to 4, and 1 in dex to take me to 2.
So currently you have spent. Come on. She's being a jerk. So currently you have strength 4, dexterity 2, stamina 4. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I should point out that one thing that we forgot to do is we forgot to assign specialties for Liz's character. So I will remind you that any stat, any attribute, any ability of which you have 4 or more, you're going to have to apply a specialty to. We'll get to that later.
Cool.
Mental is your secondary. You have 5 dots to distribute.
5 dots, eh? I'm thinking. So what's important here? I feel like intelligence is kind of low. I feel like intelligence is on the low end of the importance here. So if I were to do 2 each in perception and wits, that's 3 each, and then intelligence could be 2. It's pretty balanced. Yeah, I don't think he'd have like overwhelmingly good perception and wits.
Thank you, Krister. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What determines which stat groups are primary and secondary for a character? The player chooses. So the player chooses physical, social, or mental as primary, secondary, and tertiary.
You know, like I could build a social-oriented troll and get a bonus to strength anyway. You know,
Yes.
I could do it that way. Not going to, but I could.
And social. You have 1 in each. He hasn't even spent his freebies. Holy shit, these guys are thirsty for you to use guns.
I know, right? They're freaking out. Low dex will make guns trick. Guys, P.S. I know it's going to be expensive, but I am planning on putting dex up to 3. We'll talk. I would like to do.
I miss this guy so much. You guys have to understand that.
Aw, Churn. It's nice. Okay, this is going to be an interesting pick. Here we go. Charisma 1. So, sorry, I'm not putting a dot into it. I'm leaving it at 1.
Okay.
Manipulation 2. So I'm putting a dot into it. And then appearance, I'm going to put my other 2 dots into it.
So you are a hot, not so charismatic troll. I mean, I'm okay with this. I like this.
I honestly, like, I might flip. Maybe I'll flip those points. Nah. I don't know if I want to flip those points around. But
I'm
like,
gonna leave this here for now. You can change that whenever you like. But
yeah.
So charisma 1 means that you aren't going to be very easy to get along with. That doesn't mean that people can't be friends with you or anything like that.
Right.
It does mean, however, that perhaps you are less, you know. Because charisma 1 can mean a couple of different things. It could mean that you're shy. It can mean that you're rude. It can mean that you don't like to talk that much, or if you do like to talk, you say all the wrong things, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a charisma of 1 is a pretty serious, like.
Well, then maybe.
But I'm okay with that. I just
No. I know. I'm just wondering if it's the other way around then, and if it's because what manipulation 1 would be like, people see right through you, buddy. Like, you couldn't try to lie to anybody.
Essentially, manipulation 1 would be the equivalent of you wearing your heart on your sleeve. That if you were ever asked to lie, it would be difficult for you because you just it doesn't occur to you. Like okay, let me put it this way. You, Scott, you're an actor, right?
Truth.
Which means that you need a certain amount of charisma because you need people to like you. And you need a certain amount of manipulation because you need people to believe you when you are not being truthful. Right? I know that you're always supposed to find the truth and act it, but like the act of finding the truth is in and of itself a manipulative act.
Yes.
So that's what manipulation 1 is versus charisma 1.
Okay. I'm gonna leave it like this.
You'll leave it like this for now?
Yeah.
All right. Again,
I'm curious what a person with charisma 1 is gonna be like. I'm just gonna leave it for now, see what happens.
I mean, also the thing is that even though there isn't a ton of variance, it could also be you may have been more charismatic in the past and just let it go, right? Like becoming disillusioned, becoming kind of like bitter.
Mm-hmm.
That could explain it. And also remember, you can later on increase your charisma using experience points.
Right.
Remember that experience points in Changeling are exponential, not unlike in Exalted. So the first buying Charisma 2 costs a certain amount. Charisma 3 costs twice that amount.
I see.
Right?
Okay.
Like, so buying buying dots for things that you have only 1 or 2 dots in is cheaper than buying the last dot in something.
I hear you.
Captain Daft points out if you're getting a ton of strength, you can move a dot into Dex and use freebies on +1 charisma, but how would one justify raising their appearance? So all the bishops, I can actually tell you that this is there's an easy way to do it. Plastic surgery.
Wait, what?
Your appearance actually makes up a couple of different things. One of it is that you could just start paying more attention to how you look. Things like, I bother to wear clothes that fit correctly. I wear perfume. I got contacts instead of these dorky glasses that I'm wearing. I figured out what to do with my hair. Some of us, bother to shave all their hair off because that's going to make them look more attractive. I stop picking at my scabs. I stop, there's that. And it can also mean your demeanor, right? Like, I stand up taller. I don't slouch. I make an effort to look better as I glide through the room, kind of thing. So that's how I would justify appearance. Now, the thing is, if you have this massive scar on your face, your GM might say, you can't increase your appearance above a certain level if you have a brutal-looking, nasty-ass scar. But you could also make the case, you could say either the scar has kind of faded a bit and now it looks more refined. It makes me look badass, so my appearance goes up. Or you can say that I found somebody to heal the scar, and that's justification to my GM for buying more appearance. Presence kind of falls under both the crosshair. Why am I describing your antithesis, Rock Pants? I don't understand. So he's a hot, strong troll knight. Hot, strong troll knight is my it's my U2 cover band. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a haircut, so now I look like a rakish scoundrel, which means my scar gives me +2. Like, that totally makes sense. Now, you can't buy your appearance up above 5 because you're not sheep.
What are you going to do?
All right, so we've got your physical, social, and mental in place. That's awesome. We're going to move on to your abilities. Talents, skills, and knowledges. Talents being things that you are either innately good at or that don't require necessarily too much in the way of instruction. Skills being things that they're things that you have to practice, but that also you can learn more about directly from somebody. And knowledges being things you have to study specifically. It's not a perfect description of everything, but that's close enough. Talents you can use even if you don't have dots in them. So if you have no dots in kenning, you can still roll kenning. You just only roll your perception, say.
Right.
Skills, you can roll even if you have no dots, but it's going to be at a +1 difficulty as well. So if you don't have any dots in melee and you pick up a sword, you roll dexterity, but at a +1 difficulty because you don't have any training. It's awkward.
Never on a sword, yeah.
For knowledges, if you don't have any dots in it, you can't attempt it at all. Because you can't make up knowledge that you don't have. Now, one thing that I will point out about knowledges, though, is that if the average person in the world can do it, you can do it. That's what's reasonable. So, like, for instance, Liz doesn't have any dots in computer for her character. She just doesn't. And that doesn't mean that she, like, looks at a computer and she's like, I have no fucking idea. Like, she can use Google.
It's 2017. Like right?
Right, like she can use Facebook, she can type up a thing, but like any problems with computers and she's immediately fucked. She doesn't know how to Google something to look up how to fix it. She she doesn't know how to download apps onto her phone, that kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
I will also point out that on the sheet that we have, there are some things missing. So specifically, whoops, my bag. Specifically for knowledges, you are missing academics as one of the abilities there, and you'll notice that it says lore on there. Lore is not on the 20th anniversary sheet, it's kind of covered by Greymare. So don't take lore. I think everything else is pretty much correct. Alertness, athletics, brawl, empathy,
That's pretty
intimidation, kenning, leadership, persuasion, yeah. So it's just that. It's missing academics, and it has lore when it shouldn't.
Okay. I feel like, as much as you can't attempt things if you don't have the knowledge. I do feel like there's an awful lot of abilities under talents that are going to be, things that are up my alley. So I'm gonna prioritize it the way it's on the page. John, talents, skills, knowledges.
All right, talents. You have 13 dots. You cannot spend more than 3 in any individual area yet.
Right. Okay. Having a look here. Right. Okay. So, all right. Actually, that's what I want to do. Yeah, it is definitely. So, for sure, athletics, brawl. I'm listing them for myself, and then I'm going to look at dots in a second here.
Mhm.
Athletics, brawl, intimidation. Is kenning the ability?
Kenning.
Go ahead.
Just because this will be more interesting to more than just you. Kenning is fairy sight. It allows a character to sense glamour in all its forms. He can recognize the power of cantrips and freeholds, identify slumbering changelings, and even discover the elusive prodigals and their magic. This insight is usually an impression. Greymare is required to know specifics about what the changeling senses.
Okay.
Krister, see if you can just slip that in under the red lines. They won't mind, I'm sure.
I don't think so. It just offsets all the formatting. It's all fun. You're like, oh no. Okay. All right. Here we go. For sure, 3 in brawl and 3 in intimidation. That's the max I can put them up to right now. 3 in each.
Okay.
John?
Yes.
Empathy. The ability to empathize, or the ability to understand people's...
Empathy is a character's
motivations.
understanding of the emotions and feelings of others. She may form a genuine connection with people or feign sympathy to manipulate them. Particularly intuitive characters can discern when someone is lying. A highly empathetic character must be careful. Her own feelings may be affected by others' emotions. I will point out that your boon to determine whether somebody is lying is based on kenning, not empathy.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Also, definitely athletics. Right. Athletics is things like throwing things, jumping, swimming. Right.
Athletics is basic sport and exercise: climbing, running, leaping, swimming, throwing. The rules and play of sports.
Okay.
It doesn't cover brawl or melee.
Okay. Right. Essentially, I'm going to throw in another 3 in athletics, 2 in alertness, shakes me to 11 out of 13.
Mm-hmm.
And then another 2 in kenning.
All right.
Which leaves me pretty blank in a lot of these things.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Having no dots in empathy but 2 dots in kenning means that you're good at telling when somebody's lying, but not necessarily how they're feeling. If that's okay with you. Remember that also you can gain more freebie points by taking flaws. Yes, it does cover rugby, Soul Search. Yes, it does.
Soul Search, I've decided everything.
All right. Skills. They pay bills. And yes, your character's a specialist. This isn't min-maxing. Min-maxing would be trying to anticipate what kind of campaign I was going to run and then only buying dots to help out with that. It's totally fine to build a character, a combat-focused character, right? That's totally fine. The only thing that I would be really disappointed in is if you were like, I'm going to take the maximum number of flaws. They're all flaws that will never come up in game, so I never have to worry about them. That gives me 7 extra dots, Anyway, so skills.
Okay. Yeah, Aragwen, thank you. I'm gonna take a note of that. I don't know what free being is, but I'm gonna write leadership down. 'Cause I think
Spending your freebie points to
Oh,
purchase
freebie.
things.
that makes much more sense.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna take 3 in melee because I feel like he's
Chicken
got
tonight?
a really good head on his shoulders in terms. Well, we'll talk later in terms of like melee weapons and stuff.
All right.
I want to take 2 in firearms. I do, and not just at the insistence of literally everybody in the chat here, but because I think he would have at some point kind of incorporated that skill into his lethal arsenal.
So, as pointed out by any, need dat etiquette for the court. I would strongly recommend that you take at least 1 dot in etiquette because you are a member of a house for whom etiquette is important.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave that to you.
And perfect. I'm gonna take. Okay, here we go. Ready? I'm gonna take 2 dots in etiquette.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take 1 each in stealth. No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna drop the stealth and take the survival instead. 1 in survival,
Mm-hmm.
and 1 in animal ken.
All right. I should point out that without any dots in drive, you do not know how to drive a car.
Balls.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You live in Montreal, but I will also point out, and maybe this is fine, but Liz also does not have any drive.
Ugh. Kate's gonna look at our sheets and be like, guys. No, I took the animal ken so I can have a horse. Right?
That's fine.
I'm gonna steal one from.
It's got to be a massive fucking horse, but
Actually, that's true, eh? Oh boy.
Troll Knight Paladin takes the bus.
We're gonna talk. Oh, maybe I have a segue, guys. It's fine. I'm going for you. I may move these around
That's
to
fine.
accommodate that, but I'm gonna leave it for now.
You have 5 dots to spend in knowledges.
Okay. Politics would be the knowledge of how the court system works, or like mundane politics. Possibly both.
Both.
Two in politics, please.
2 in politics.
That's it. I'm just kidding.
And that's all I need.
I feel like I'd have a dot in medicine.
Okay.
Not from like extensive medical study, but
yeah, but
you know,
enough that like I know how to patch someone up.
that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Academics is like academic. Greymare is the
So
like
Greymare.
yeah.
This is also important for people to know because this is not a common thing in these games. Greymare is a character's understanding of magic, lore, and the ways of glamour. She uses it when creating an oath, weaving an enchantment, forging a treasure, and understanding fairy history. Greymare is essential for comprehending all things related to the dreaming, including mortal and prodigal magic and mystic practices. I would recommend, if you are somebody who's been a changeling for a long time, you may want to make sure that you have some dots in this.
Yeah. I don't really see anything else in knowledges that strikes me as something that would be up his alley, so
2 dots
I'm going
in
to take
Greymare?
2.
Cool.
2 in Greymare.
Sounds good to me. So those are your abilities. That all of your dots are currently spent, as we see on the sheet right here.
Mm-hmm.
So Captain Daff, linguistics is, it depends. Linguistics is a thing in that languages are counted as a merit. And if you were specifically for linguistics, that would be specifically, let me just see this quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Expression. Like writing things down. Expression is on this sheet. Wait, so what isn't on that? What am I missing? Alertness, athletics, brawl, empathy.
Yeah,
Expression is in there. Intimidation is there. Canning, leadership. Oh, persuasion. Persuasion is not on the 20th anniversary sheet.
Whoops.
Which he didn't
So
take
expression
anyway.
instead.
It's expression instead.
That's fine. I was not planning on taking dots.
That's fine. There we go. We are never getting a fairy airship. You don't even know what Kate's building yet. Jeez.
Hey,
Jeez. Yeah, sorry, I missed the expression. Hobby, the thing about hobby is that all of them have hobby talent, professional skill, and expert knowledge. That's meant to be a catch-all. That's meant to be like, I want something specific, which isn't here in the book, so. Fortify Metro Villa Maria for tomorrow we invade Notre Dame de Grace.
I mean,
Yes?
it could have happened.
All right.
I'm just like,
We're moving on. We've got backgrounds to cover now. You have 5 dots
Ooh.
to assign in backgrounds.
right. I gotta look at these.
So the
Okay.
backgrounds are...
Yeah.
For people who are looking in at them, the backgrounds are chimera, items or companions of yours that only exist in the chimerical world. This would include weapons, chimerical weapons specifically. Contacts, trusted informants who give you useful information for a price. Dreamers, mortals who give you glamour. Holdings, a freehold that you claim as your own. Mentor, another changeling that teaches and advises you. Remembrance, your intuitive link to the dreaming and collective knowledge possessed by all Fae, or your past lives. Resources, your mundane wealth. Retinue, enchanted mortals who assist you. Title, your rank in the Cathay nobility. And treasure, an item of yours that has magical powers of its own. So, first things first, you already said that you wanted title. If you're a knight, you have spent 2 of your dots already.
Yep. Throw it in. Here we go. Idle.
If you don't take resources, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily on the street. It means you have absolutely no spending money. You basically live as thrifty as you possibly can.
Right. Which, I mean, to a certain extent, I do see this guy as like, pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of, like
Spartan?
Scrooge. Spartan. Yeah, let's do that. Exactly. Yeah. So that's not the worst thing in the world. However, John, I was thinking about, and I just need to jump down to take a look at it really quick.
Mhm.
Treasure are items that have the abilities of arts, essentially.
That's correct.
Yeah? Okay, I had
Yes,
an
and they
idea.
both exist in the real world and in the dreaming, in the chimerical sense. So if you have like a treasure sword, it looks like a sword to everybody. If you have treasure armor, it looks like armor to everyone. So while yes, it'll have an advantage, it'll have an enchantment that you can use, it, however, will also potentially make you conspicuous. Drawing your sword, if it's a chimerical sword, no one's going to pay any fucking attention to you because it'll look like a pen or an umbrella. Drawing a treasure sword means you're drawing a sword.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Now, that's okay. Again, that's fine. And remember that this is the world of darkness. Did I lose you? No, I didn't. This is the world of darkness. And because it's the world of darkness, you can get away a little more with doing violent acts out in the middle of the nowhere or in the open, in public.
hmm
So you don't have to worry as much about that, but you still have to worry to a certain extent, right? Like if you're in a mall and you pull out a chimerical sword, people are going to be like, what the fuck is that? As opposed to you pulling out a pen, in which case no one's really going to notice you.
Right, which they would kind of just be like, oh, okay, I guess. So I was kind of also sort of looking at arts. Stop it, guys. So I was looking at arts and kind of thinking about like if I was to take it, but that's a good sort of distinction, John. I think that's really cool. But I do also feel like this guy would treasure, literally something that's a link to his past where he was doing all this cool shit that he's sort of now past. Right. And he's like, oh, well, I got to get back to that somehow.
Mhm.
So if he was to have, a weapon or a shield or something that was sort of linked to that, I think that'd be really cool. So I was looking at Winter 1 Chill,
Mm-hmm.
which my understanding is that it lowers the temperature in a region or to a person or in an object or whatever. And I was just wondering if we could. Oh my god, we're gonna. It's already like 10 past 9. Oh my god, guys, it's gonna take forever. I wanted to build a treasure with you.
Okay.
That would be when drawn for the purpose of initiating battle, like an honorable fight,
Mm-hmm.
a sword that sort of blasts an instant Arctic chill at the enemies. Wouldn't necessarily, like, it'd be cool if there was a mechanical effect to it, but
Well, if there's no mechanical effect, you don't need to take it as a treasure.
right. But okay, so then I guess
Just to put it that way, it wouldn't matter as much, just because then it's just like a description, right? Like, I draw this sword and it's a badass sword, and everyone kind of goes, right? Yeah, unleashing cantrips cast by a troll come with a blast of cold Arctic chill, a byproduct of her ancestry as a warrior of the northern places. Should one listen hard enough, one might hear the ring of steel on steel or the cries of battle engaged by valorous trolls long dead. So when you unleash a cantrip, you're going to get that effect anyway. So chill. The cantrip's realm determines the target. The changeling possesses enough control over the glamour to pleasantly cool a drink or cause someone to shiver and move as they futilely try to escape the cold. When used on something inanimate or non-sentient, I'm the arbiter. When cast on a warm-blooded animal or creature, the target incurs a +1 difficulty to all rolls due to distraction and discomfort. And the number of successes determine the numbers of turns the cold persists. So what I would say is, if you had a treasure that cast chill,
yeah.
It means that in the first few rounds of combat, your opponents would have this +1 difficulty when you unsheathe the sword. I would also rule that this effect would occur when you unsheath it. So it still affects them, like, socially, right? Like, if they're talking and you unsheath it, then they'll feel cold and they might start stuttering or somewhat, right? But what we would do is we would determine how long that effect would last, or what would end that effect. Because instead of you casting the cantrip, it would always work, but it wouldn't be permanent. Like, that would be too powerful. Like, everyone always has a +1 difficulty when you draw your sword is a bit tough.
Yeah, I want it to be, balanced and not just like anytime I feel in danger, I'm just going to be like, whoa, free, cold or whatever.
So then what I would say is, when you draw your sword, your enemies suffer 3 rounds of this issue if you take this as a treasure at level 1. And we can always renegotiate that if it turns out to be too strong or too weak. But that's what I would rule for that.
Yeah, I really like that, because also then, now I'm imagining this, when we talk background, if we get to that on today's stream, John, I'm imagining this like Power Rangers-esque group of motley, like that he used to be a part of, and each of them had maybe a different elemental bent, or they weren't flashy, but like, they had a theme or whatever. Okay. And he was the guy who was like, he strikes fear and cold into the heart of his enemies or whatever. So I think is that treasure 1 then?
That would be treasure 1.
All right.
I should also point out that if you want to have normal equipment, like if you're like, I want to own a gun, I'm not going to make you spend background points on it. If it's like anything vaguely reasonable, right? Like, it's part of your starting equipment, that's fine. If it was chimerical, then you would have to. But also, chimerical guns don't exist. Those are treasures by default.
Right. Okay. So now I just need to...
You have 3 dots, or sorry, 2 dots remaining in backgrounds. You have title 2 and treasure 1.
I definitely want to take at least resources 1. I just want to know if I want to have anything else here.
Now, one thing that I will point out is that if you decide that you want to have your own freehold or pool resources with other people in order to have like a freehold that you all kind of have a stake in, you can totally do this. In which case, you're not going to spend that dot. We'll hold on to it for now.
I'm sorry, John. Can you say that again? About holding on to a point for freehold?
So let's say that you wanted to pool the three of you wanted to pool dots in order to create a freehold that you guys had as your like home base kind of thing. You could totally do this. However, what you would do is you would each contribute a number of dots that you would choose into this thing, and that would be what the freehold is, right? Like that would be how many dots the freehold is worth. So if you put in, say, if you put in a dot and Liz put in a dot and Kate put in a dot, it would be a 3-dot freehold.
Right. That's pretty good.
If only you put one in, it would be a 1-dot freehold, but it would be yours, and no one else would have any claim to it.
Well, I don't see anything else here that really jumps out at me as being sort of on point. So may I hold one of my background points for freehold?
So I'm actually going to put it as holdings. Perfect. And then I'm going to put group ? And leave it at that.
Because then if nobody else takes one, it'll just be me.
That
makes sense. Okay, cool.
Now you have arts. 3 dots in arts.
Okay. There are can I just say for Krister, by the way, / everybody,
so many arts
involved in the making of C20, like there are so many cool arts in this game. There are about 90 different
levels that you can take by my count, and unleashing, which I think is a super cool mechanic.
Yeah, I'm so excited to try that out in game and just be like, hey, contract,
fuck that guy
do
up.
this. Yeah, exactly. Like, fuck this guy up.
Make him. So you have 3 dots to spend. You can spend them all in one art. You can spend one in 3 different arts, like Liz chose.
Mm-hmm. All the Bishops is curious about what is unleashing whilst I look through.
So I will describe unleashing while you're looking through this. What unleashing does is that you choose an art to unleash, and you state your character's intent in a short, simple statement, like hurt that man, or save my friend, or restore this building. And you spend a bunch of glamour, and the roll is made. It's not constrained by your realms. It's like Unleash Glamour can affect anything. But the thing is, I determine what the effects are. If you succeed, it's also riskier because it might do what you want, but also kind of screw with what's happening around. It's like a last-ditch effort. If a cantrip is a way of saying, this is what I want, and I've, codified it in a specific manner, and I know exactly what's going to happen, that's an art. That's like a specific cantrip that you've chosen. However, if you're using an art and you're just hoping that it'll work, and you're panicked, and you don't necessarily have enough, you haven't studied this particular application of it, you can unleash instead.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh boy. Soul Search. Shout out to all the poets in chat, guys.
Hell yeah.
Big fan.
Coaxing or commanding or pleading to the dreaming.
Yeah, you can beg, yeah. John.
Yes.
Contract 1.
Contract 1, done deal. This powerful cantrip allows the changeling to enter into binding oaths with others, or to sanctify oaths she formally witnesses. Contract 1.
I mean, is it a little bit like an eclipse from Exalted? Yeah, sure, but I think it also works well.
It works well with trolls are all about the oaths,
right? So being able to forge their own, I think, is a good thing.
Yep.
And then I was looking at Dragon's Ire, obviously, because it's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
For 2 dots, like both of them, the other 2.
Dragon's Ire 1. This cantrip infuses its target with the burning might of legend. To those with changeling eyes, the subject seems faintly lined in a golden aura. Each success adds to the efficacy. Successes on this cantrip must be split between efficacy and duration. Each success allocated to efficacy adds 1 dot of strength or 1 die of damage. Each success allocated to duration extends the effect by 1 round.
Okay.
So, Dragon's Ire 1. Dragon's Ire 2, Confounding Coils. The realm determines who or what gains a defensive blessing. All attacks directed against the subject increase their difficulty by 2 to a maximum of 9, and it lasts for 1 round per success. It's ineffective against Cold Iron.
You could throw at a character who maybe was out of their depth in combat and be like, protect, you know.
Absolutely. So there's... John's channel especially has never been PG-13. I don't know. It depends on your definition of PG-13. If you say by the number of times I say the word fuck, absolutely it's never been PG-13 according to the Motion Picture Association of America. But, you know, it also depends on your particular set of values. I haven't described I'm not even going to get into it.
No, yep. I was like, go ahead, John.
Realms, you have 5 dots. Oh.
I have a quick question for you, John.
Yes.
Do I need to like create some sort of history with somebody who would have taught my
That's up to you.
Dragon's
It's not.
Ire, like...
I'm not going to require it because you haven't picked. Like Dragon's Ire is something that you could definitely like Dragon's Ire. Many should consider Dragon's Ire proprietary art, which can only be properly mastered by a noble warrior. But in truth, it also sees some practice among commoner kith, most frequently redcaps and trolls. So, you can, and I think that it's a good idea for you to have that in the back of your mind, but it's not like it's a requirement for you to purchase these things. Perfect. Also, once you've started learning an art, it's not as required for you to gain a mentor to continue learning it. You would, however, need a mentor if you wanted to learn a new art.
Interesting. Okay, so that's good to know.
And mentor, not necessarily like someone in your backgrounds.
Right. Krister, I'm going to take a look at that because I'm curious about the, when I can use this business. I'm going to take a look. Okie doke. Realms it is.
You have 5 dots to spend.
Troll, there's one that's like specific. What am I looking at here? Affinity.
If you want to be able to affect yourself, first and foremost, you want Fey 1.
For sure.
Actually, no, sorry. My bad. Fey 2.
Balls.
You are considered a noble as you have a title.
Oh. Boo. How annoying is that? John, you bastard. Okay. You know what? Respect. All right.
Respect.
Amen. Okay. Where am I going? Here, hang on. I'm just jumping down to realms because I haven't I remember all the details here. Fey 2, write it down. Here we go.
So remember that realms determines what you can affect with your cantrips. Having Fey 2 is very important, specifically because a lot of your cantrips involve the Fey, either because you're swearing oaths or because you are fighting or whatever. Remember that if you don't have a realm in 20th anniversary, you can still affect something, but for every realm that you are short, you need to spend a point of glamour. So if you want to cast a cantrip that uses the actor realm and the time realm, but you don't have either of them, it's going to cost you an extra 2 glamour to do that.
Right.
It's not 1 per dot you're missing, it's just 1 per realm you can't make.
That makes sense. Okay, so...
We don't talk about Kevin.
You sure? Don't we need to? So actor is people, Fey is Fey, nature is elements, forces of nature.
Proper items, manufactured things.
Okay.
Scene is the ability to affect more than one thing at a time. Time has changed in 20th anniversary. Time, very specifically now, has a couple of different effects. Time 1 is you triple the duration of a cantrip. Time 2 is that you can delay the effect of a cantrip up to a year and a day. Time 3, you can set a trigger for a cantrip to go off. So when this condition happens, the cantrip goes. Time 4 is that it automatically activates a second time, but only as if it rolled a single success. So as soon as it ends, it starts up again, but only for a single success. And 5, the cantrip becomes seasonal and reactivates after being dormant. So you can make it so that like it's seasonal, or like every eclipse or every birthday. It sort of just like keeps the cantrip going again and again
Right.
and again.
Interesting. Okay. As much as because you can kind of cheat realms, it's not super important to have 5 in everything, right?
That's true.
Not that you can. So I'm gonna go with I have Fey 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take Prop 2, so I can affect crafted tools.
But right now,
And-
you have no arts that affect tools.
I mean, you could imbue items with Dragon's Ire, no?
Let me
Am I crazy?
just confirm that. Maybe you can. Maybe
Be
I'm
pretty
an
boss.
idiot.
I'd like to try. Whoa. Get out of here, Ripley.
Cat.
Cat.
Oh, you're right. So if the subject is an object, then all attacks made with that object gain extra damage dice. Okay, so yeah, that's true. You
Woo!
are correct.
So cool.
And for 2, an inanimate object blessed by this cantrip seems to subtly writhe and shift, throwing off attempts to strike it. So you are correct in that case. However, I'll point out for prop, prop 1 would be anything that is commonly worn. 2 would be a crafted tool, so a sword would be 2. Whereas a gun would be considered a mechanical device, so that would be prop 3.
Oh, shit. It's because I really want to take... Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Do I
time
wanna
is,
take-
is much cooler. But the
Time
thing is,
is
you
so
can
much
also
cooler.
you can also cast it on yourself, in which case it's your attacks. It's just not your item; it's you.
Right, my items. Okay. Oh, there's so much here. I kind of love it.
The other thing is that your realm is also the dice pool that you roll. So if you want to be really good at affecting something, you want more dots in one particular realm.
Okay. So then in that case, as much as I want to take time 1, I'm going to sigh.
You have freebie points to spend too.
No. But I've already, in my mind, I've already run out. Get out of here, cats.
In my mind, I've already run out.
Oh no, this is my life now.
The dreaming is the biggest bitch of them all.
Oh shit. I love it. Would I affect crafted tools? Really? I feel like I'm gonna. All right. I'm gonna take. Oh fuck. I wouldn't affect Chimera, so I'm gonna. Okay, Fey 2. Love it.
Yeah.
Fey 2. Prop. Ah, crap. Fey 2. Prop 3. And I'm done.
All right. This one time I met King David. He told me to go take a hike. I told him to go fuck himself. That is why I live not in Concordia anymore. Very dangerous for me.
That's the High King. You can't just tell him to go F himself. Get out of here.
All right. So Fey 2 Prop 3. You've thrown that down.
Throw it down.
So now we have your tempers. You start with a certain amount of glamour, willpower, and banality. You will start with willpower 4, glamour 4, and banality 3. However, you have also selected a seeming. You've selected to be a grump. As a result, I believe you get an extra willpower.
Yep.
I'm just going to make absolutely sure of that. Boo, boo, boo.
So is that 453? Am I?
80, page 83. So you're seeming, childling, wilder, grump. So grumps get a +1 to willpower. So you start with willpower 5.
Excellent.
Doot.
So this is a weird question, John.
Yeah.
But we're talking about tempers. If I feel like my character is currently or starts in a place with, higher than usual banality,
Mm-hmm.
what would be the system? Like, obviously, I'm not going to spend, like, I don't want to purchase additional points. It's not a good thing. I know that. Neither is not enough. But I feel like, could I adjust it somehow for myself so that it's more, like, I don't know, appropriate?
You want to be able to increase the amount of banality that you have.
I feel like I might have more than 3 to start. Then again, we can also maybe say, like, it could, when the Chronicle starts, I've just done something that's decreased it back to 3 or whatever.
Now, that's an interesting question. I don't know if there... I mean, for one thing, Liz, if we reference her sheet, which Crazy Deuce also wants to see, Liz actually has banality 4 because she's Liam, and Liam start with an extra point of banality.
Oh, balls. Okay.
Changeling World is typically set in modern day. This Chronicle will be set in modern day. So banal.
So banal. So banal.
Banal.
Just the whole thing is just so banal.
I don't actually know if there's a way to just increase your banality and actually have that have a mechanical effect. So I'm going to say currently we're going to leave it at 3 and we can discuss. But banality is also, remember, like it's you're weakening yourself by adding banality just on its own. And it doesn't necessarily, like, your attitude and your outlook is going to come from your seeming, not necessarily from your banality, right? Like,
that's true, eh? Okay.
So,
Woo!
yeah, I think that was for design reasons that they didn't let you increase your banality too early. Partially because it also made grumps just, like, really fucking difficult to deal with sometimes.
That's right. Oh, yeah, they used to come with...
Because they had banality 5. The Childlings had banality 1. Wilders had banality 3, and Grumps had banality 5, and 5 is already getting pretty close to the point where you just won't remember shit anyway. So,
Roof.
Hello, Alineian.
Alineian. So okay, well then, okay, well I'll leave it,
page.
and I'll just sort of make sure to justify it for myself at some point. And okay, where are we at? How are we doing?
We now have 15 points worth of shit to spend. Also, you can select merits and flaws at this point in time.
Oh yeah.
Oh my. So here are your freebie point costs. Abilities, 2 points per dot, and now you can put things above 3. Arts, 5 points per dot. Attributes, 5 points per dot. Backgrounds are 1. Glamour is 3 points for an extra glamour. Realms are 2 points per dot. Willpower is 2 points per dot, and this is the only time that it's not exponential.
Ooh.
267. All right, while you're thinking of that, I'm going to look at the banality.
There's a lot going on here. Oh, actually, you know what I need to do?
These are the
as
guidelines.
well?
Okay, yeah, I know. Yeah.
I need to make a note of my troll stuff. My troll stuff. What trolls do. They got. Where do I put that? Guys, where do I put it?
Good night, Mr. Dane.
Where does it go on my sheet?
What, your troll stuff? That goes under birthrights and frailties.
Yeah.
So that's Titan's power, strong of will and body.
Under backgrounds?
And no, birthrights, frailties. On the sheet that I gave you, it's at the bottom right. Bond of duty.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
So bond of duty is that if you ever break an oath or a sworn contract, you lose your Titan's power birthright and you begin to sicken. And if you're ever betrayed, you have to roll willpower to not rage out and attack them. You get 2 extra dice to resist being seduced, persuaded, or magically commanded away from your cause, and you can't botch athletics or alertness rolls.
Gonna write Titan power, strong of will and body. This is a reminder for me to write this shit down. And Bond of Duty.
Whatever do you mean, Liz?
Oh, Scotty, no bocce. Oh, no, Kilmore. Don't worry. Just because I can't botch 2 kinds of rolls doesn't mean I can't botch literally every other kind
Pools
of
are
roll.
lower in this game. Botches will be more common.
Yay! Which is the real reason John wants to run it. All right.
That's totally it.
Okay.
I don't think that's cold comfort right now. Ray's gonna have other things to worry about.
2 points for an ability, 5
What if
points
I
for an
speak
attribute.
with my throat?
Realms are 2. Okay. Whoa. All right, let me think about this. So, 15 points, right?
You actually, technically, you have 16 because I'm
Well, that's
giving
right.
I'm giving you an extra one. Are you choosing to know French?
Yes.
So
Oui.
now you have 15.
If I may. I'm gonna write that down. Language French. Actually, you know what, John? Before I spend my points, I'm gonna go to merits and flaws,
All right, go have
if
a
I
look.
may. Because I had, you know what? Actually, there were a few flaws that I wanted to specifically ask,
Ooh,
take and
flaws.
ask you about if they were going to be okay.
How are
and
you
so on.
damaged? How are
Yikes.
you fucked up?
Oh boy.
How are you? Broken.
Wee.
This one time, Queen Mab told me that I had to go find some fucking flower or something. I told her that she was sitting on it. Every once in a while, my feet still hurt from where she had them cut off.
Thank God I can still smoke.
At least I still have cigarettes. They still love me.
Oh my God.
Aragorn, that's definitely what you want to hear when someone's like, oh, your sexy voice cracks me up every time.
Oh boy. Okay. Where is it?
I have never been described as an adult before. That character that I'm doing right now may actually make an appearance in the game.
Oh shit. Okay, John, flaws. Here we go.
Yes.
Ready? I would like to take some flaws for additional points, which I can then translate into merits,
Mm-hmm.
because that's how I'm going to roll. There is a flaw on 180. Nope, where is it? Oh my god, so there's a merit called Fake It. And I just read Fuck It. Straight up, I was like, wow.
I want a merit
can't
called
believe that's
Fuck It. That would be amazing. I'm so down.
That'd be very funny. Where is it? There's a 2-point flaw called... Where the F did it go? Oh, it's under mental. There it is. That's right. Short fuse. 182.
So, short fuse. The slightest provocation against you or one of your close companions compels you to lash out with fists, feet, or whatever comes to hand. When incited, you must make a willpower roll to compose yourself with the difficulty decided upon by the storyteller based on the severity of the insult. So,
Parfum de God. Sorry, yeah.
I'm going to ask, just before I let you take this flaw, how does this differ from your Gwyian flaw?
Ooh, true. I feel like the way that it differs is that instead, it kind of colors it, right? So instead of seeking vengeance, the immediate instinctual response will be to jump to combat or to jump to a fight. With a successful willpower, like with a successful application of his will, he can be like, wait, hang on, maybe there's a better way to resolve this.
Now, have you always had this short fuse? Or is this something that's come up?
I feel like it would have been sort of a big part of him.
Do you think that he would have been able to be an effective knight if he had a short fuse?
Physically effective, yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. It would be very difficult to be oath bound to protect someone when anybody could just be like, "Hey, you smell," and he'd be like,
Right.
"Fuck you."
You've seen Back to the Future?
Yes.
Marty McFly has the short fuse flaw. All someone had to do is be like, "What are you, chicken?" And he has no choice. Like, he overcomes it by the end of the third film, but like, he has to do something about it. And it fucks him up every time. So I'm going to make you think on that, because I think that that's actually an exceptionally difficult flaw for a troll to have.
I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Maybe that's just more represented by the
Yeah, spoilers on that 30-year-old film.
By the way, spoilers. It might be just represented by my secondary legacy of Beast anyway. Like, I might not need a separate flaw to sort of represent what I'm thinking, which is this sort of, want to this violence.
You can still absolutely be somebody who's like itching for a fight, but short fuse is a way that I will punish you for taking that flaw.
Nice.
I mean, I don't want to dissuade you necessarily from taking it, but it will be difficult for you to be somebody who has, like a duty and a sense of honor, and that they have to go forward and do this, except that every once in a while, like, they completely erase all of the progress that they've made.
Yeah, that'd be pretty rough. I tend to agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, there was some other suggestions thrown in there.
Yeah, I see Aragorn's made some. Aragorn, I'm going to come back to those because I have one that I really thought would be really like a combo flaw, or like one or the other, that I thought would be really interesting. Which was, so I'm looking at 184, 185. There's two separate flaws. One of them is called enemy, and the other is called recruitment target. And I really like the idea that with this now faded fame, there is some, danger from the past, or some sort of target from the past that was unable to be fully defeated. That's coming back, or it has always been coming back for this guy.
So here's what I would point out.
Okay.
Recruitment target's an interesting one. It would be difficult for somebody to think that they could necessarily recruit you, because you are a Gwyian knight.
That's true.
Right? Like, and House Gwyian would be like, "The fuck you doing?" If
they're not
that ever came down, and they would rain holy hell. I'm not saying you can't take it. It's just, it might be a little harder. Now, enemy, I can absolutely see you take. And here's what I'm going to make. I'm going to suggest this to you, Scott.
Hit me up.
I am going to suggest that you take the enemy flaw. I am going to suggest that you take the flashbacks flaw.
Ooh.
And when you take the flashbacks flaw, I'm not going to tell you what that flashback event is.
Okay.
It's not that you have amnesia. Otherwise, I'd make you take the amnesia flaw.
Right.
Which you could also do if you would prefer. However, I have a way specifically I know that I'm going to do in order to make sure that those flashbacks are played through properly.
Yikes.
Okay? So when these flashbacks occur, you're going to play them out.
Oh, what a badass.
So you don't know what's happened, just that it's bad.
Okay. Like,
right?
Something happened, and at some point there's going to be flashbacks to it that are like debilitating, essentially.
So I am going to give you what level of enemy do you want, by the way? You can't take enemy 5. That would put you over the maximum limit.
Yeah, so enemy 1 is like someone there's like a person or two who are about the same level as me. Could enemy 2 be a group?
Yes, it wouldn't be a very strong group, but it would be a group.
Yeah.
Ergwin, I agree. It's just that I'm leaving it on here for now so that I don't have to continually scroll back and forth kind of thing.
Thanks, Ergwin. I actually didn't know that. I'm gonna put that down there.
So here's the equivalent for enemies.
Mhm.
Just to give you an idea of what it would mean. So enemy enemy 1 would be like somebody who is definitely weaker than you, but who is enough of a pain in the ass that it's a problem, right? Like it could be somebody who's just like, I hate this guy, so whenever he stands up at court, I always like throw confetti on him before he walks in, right? Like that's like an asshole who makes your life more difficult. Enemy 2 would be somebody who essentially is the equivalent of your skill level. Like one person. Or a group of people who together is about the equivalent of your skill level.
Makes sense.
Dangerous. Enemy 3 and 4 would be like, that would either be somebody who is distinctly stronger than you or an organization out to get you. Of people who like collectively are definitely stronger than you, unless you are very careful and vigilant and stuff like that. And enemy 5 would be like, holy fuck, like High King David hates you. Right?
Wouldn't that be such a disaster?
So here's another option that I'm going to give you.
Okay.
And this is not necessarily like, you don't have to take this. I'm not pushing this on you. But here's what I can offer. You have amnesia as a 2-point flaw, flashbacks as a 3-point flaw, and enemy as a 2-point flaw. But I won't tell you who your enemy is. You're going to have to find out through your flashbacks.
Sure hope it's not one of the other PCs, am I right? That'd be a great way to end a session. Amnesia, your life is a blank slate. It's not that your life is a blank slate.
I am not making amnesia as in your life is a blank slate. I am going to basically make it so that amnesia, this is a 1-point flaw, not a 2-point flaw, and your enemy will make it a 3-point flaw. But the amnesia is very specific to, you don't remember what was the event that fucked up the Red Branch.
Got it. Something happened and it was big.
Something happened, it's not sure what, but you don't remember.
Damn. Can I just confirm the point distribution there then, John?
Flashbacks -3, enemy -3, amnesia -1. The amnesia only affects this event.
Right. Okay, got it. Cool. Thank you, by the way, for the suggestions, because I think that's bad. Not 32.
Now, you don't have to take this, but if you do, then I can mark that down.
No, I like the idea of, because I hadn't really settled it, and I like the idea if you want to take that on as part of something that you're going to craft.
Yep, I will craft it for you.
Bye, Ergwin.
Thank you, Ergwin.
Thank you. I'm really into the idea that, something happened and it's kind of shifted him out into a different world where he's like, oh, I gotta go back, but I can't, and something happened. That's 7 points of flaws.
That's 7 points of flaws. You have 22 freebies to spend.
Woo! All right. Well, let's take the big ones, right? Dex 3.
You have 17 points of flaw or freebie points to spend.
Abilities are 2 each, yeah?
2 each. You did not get the fuck it merit.
Damn it.
I mean, you can still take merits.
Yeah, no, I actually have some thoughts about that, so I might. Okie dokie. Abilities. Here we go. Leadership 1.
You have 15 points left.
I'm gonna think about streetwise. I might come back to that. Drive 1. I think I do want to be able to drive in the end. I think that's interesting.
I will make one other suggestion before I put
Yes,
this
please.
dot in drive. Jack of all trades, 5-point merit.
That's so good.
You've a large pool of miscellaneous skills and knowledges obtained through extensive travels, the jobs you've held, or all-around know-how. You automatically have 1 dot in all skill and knowledge dice pools. This is an illusory level used to simulate a wide range of abilities. If you spend experience in any untrained skill or knowledge, you must still pay the point for the first dot.
Okay.
So this is this would be the equivalent of you've already had like a long period of service. You've picked up a lot in your way. So you are good at a lot of random things. You don't have to take it. It's just an option. It might not work for your character. But if you are somebody who's just like, oh man, like he's been around, he's done a lot, then that's something that I would suggest is maybe a good idea.
Yeah, I think because I was about to say like, oh, I want to make sure I have a dot in this skill and a dot in this knowledge and a dot in this skill and for 5
dots, 5 merit points.
I can essentially say that he can attempt more or less anything.
Yes.
You know?
And yes, you would undo animal ken, survival, and medicine and then reassign those dots. Or you'd keep those knowing that you could then increase it with experience. Because remember that if you, like, let's say you have animal ken 1 and you wanted to increase that to animal ken 2, if you took the jack of all trades merit, you'd still have to spend the experience on animal ken 1 before you could get to 2.
Right. But it's more like, yeah, exactly. I'm looking at things like, investigation, enigmas, drive. Like, I want to have a dot in these because I feel like he would know how to do these things, but I'm going to run out of points pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'm going to do, John.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to undo, oh my God. I'm going to take Jack of all trades. Here we go. I love it because I think it's a great idea. Well, today. Really,
so you currently have, because you bought 1 dot of leadership. It doesn't apply to talents, by the way. It's just skills and knowledges. So
Great.
You bought leadership 1. That puts you down to 15. Then... Okay, so now I didn't give you any extra dots in anything else yet. So now Jack of all trades, you're down to 10. I am taking away 1 in survival and 1 in animal ken for now. Do you want to add those to etiquette and firearms? Or do you want to put the 2 dots in something else?
I see what you mean. No, I think etiquette and firearms, because I'll probably end up buying a 4th dot in one of those in a moment. That works.
Medicine. You can take that dot away and put that in grammar or politics.
I think
or
I'm actually
keep
going
the
to put
dot
in
medicine.
Yeah, I'm going to take it away from medicine because again, it's this like fakey. It's not real medicine. It's just he's picked up enough, And I'm going to put it into politics.
Okay. You have 10 freebie points left.
Okay. I would like to go up to melee 4.
Melee 4. You have 8.
I'm looking at everything else, but I want to look at my merits first because there was one merit in particular I really liked the sound of. There's a whole bunch of like, you're strong, you're sculpted, you're sexy, whatever.
Are you talking about Titan specifically?
You know what? So I was looking at that, and then I went down a few levels because I think it's more interesting.
Blessing of Atlas. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, yes, but then, I mean, it's super cool. You know what? If you roll back a bit. There's granite skin, which is
Granite skin.
yeah.
Interesting. A trait most commonly held by trolls and redcaps, granite skin is quite literally an epidermal layer of thin, hard stone. You're a great deal tougher than you might be normally, but you have the undesirable effect of leaving small flakes of stone behind every time you bend or flex. You possess the equivalent of chainmail armor at all times. It does not cause a dexterity penalty, but it does impose a +1 difficulty at moving silently or quietly. I will let you take this merit if you choose.
I would love to. I feel like it's not, just this general, like, wow, he's so strong. It's very particular. It's like he's not going to have a good time trying to hide. He's not going to have a good time trying to sneak, but he can take some shots,
OMG, if you shed flecks of stone, Sophia is going to kill you.
Yay! Sorry, Liz. Ugh, she's going to be so mad. I noticed there was a merit called Sex Appeal. I'm just putting it out there. No, I'm kidding. Can you imagine? Oh, Aragorn left, eh?
Yes, she did.
Damn. There was a flaw she suggested to increase banality, but I don't think I actually... All right, I can't take it anyway. Because I'm done.
Yeah, you have all the flaws you can take.
Because you done, Scott. Really quickly... Damn. Wow. Yeah. Low the mind reader, folks. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at the old character sheety-doo. Is willpower 2, John, to purchase?
Willpower is 2.
I would love an extra dot in willpower, please.
All right, you're down to 6. Or 4, I think, actually, now.
Oh, shit.
You were at 8. You took granite skin that puts you down to 6. Willpower that puts you down to 4.
Oh, for 4.
Oh,
Realms.
Echo's moderate 4.
Oh, right. Yeah, where is that now? I have to find it. 4 points. Damn.
Yeah, that's rough, but you have all the flaws that you
No, yeah, no, we done. Oh, echoes, I see. Okay.
So you have 4 left.
And do realms cost 2 each?
Realms are 2, I believe. Can I just confirm? Yes, realms are 2 per dot.
I would love to... I'd like to know how you feel, John, about splitting between scene and time, like whether mechanically that's whether that's a terrible idea.
No,
because it
that's
allows
fine.
you to do different things, right?
So for realms specifically,
Yeah.
Here's how that would change things. Scene 1 lets you affect all subjects within a small, discrete, enclosed area, like a closet, a garage, a bedroom, a shed. Scene 2 is like everyone in a home. Scene 3 would be like a city block.
Okay.
So scene 1 is enough to be like me and my friends who are right next to me. And time 1 is tripling the duration of cantrips if you use it.
So I think those are both super cool, right? Using time, I seem to recall, increases the difficulty of the cantrip by 1.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just so badass. I'm going to take scene 1 and time 1. And
Scene 1, time 1. Now you have specialties to select. You have a specialty in strength, stamina, and melee. Specialties in this one mean that if you roll a 10 and you have a specialty that applies, that 10 counts for 2 successes.
Ah, okay. Cool.
So here are some examples, not necessarily that you have to take them. We are at time. I'm going to keep going if you want to keep going, but let me know if you have to go.
For sure.
We don't have much left. So for strength, specialties include long jumping, vice grip, broad shoulders, reserves of strength, mighty blows.
Okay. Can I hear the examples for stamina just while I'm at it, so I've got some ideas here?
Stamina, unyielding, tireless, resilient, do or die, vigorous.
I like those are great. Those are great adjectives. Yeah, that sounds fucking good. And then there's a melee one as well, which is
Yes.
good. I'll take a look at that.
Examples for melee. This might be easier to pick. Disarming, improvised weapons, riposte, rapiers, blessed opa. So, like, you could pick, for instance, the kind of sword that your treasure would be, and that would be your specialty, for instance.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably gonna make the most sense.
Do you know what kind of sword you want your sword to be?
You know what? I'm actually just looking at some images right now to try to get some inspiration here. I imagine it would be quite large, but I'm not thinking of like, you know, a huge fucking great sword.
Zweihander?
So that would be nutso to carry around, right?
Not necessarily. You are a troll. You currently have a strength of 4. You'll end up with at least a strength of 6, if not 7.
What a badass. So cool.
To give you an idea of melee weapons for a sword, a great sword would be the equivalent of strength plus 6 lethal, but you wouldn't be able to conceal it like ever. A broadsword would be like strength plus 3, but you can conceal it under a trench coat.
Why not hide it in a surfboard? I love it. Yo, tubular dudes, shing! Like, oh my god, it'd be so good. I'm just looking at like.
Enjoy the voting, Annie. Thank you.
Ooh.
Flamberge. So that's where I'm gonna put under melee. I'm gonna put treasure sword,
Yeah.
and we'll figure out what your sword is later. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
I'm actually
Then I
going to.
think
So, do you have an idea for your strength?
Oh shit. Yeah. Sorry. Right. That other thing that I'm supposed to be doing right now. Yeah. Strength is gonna be Can I make it crushing?
Yes.
Is that too general?
No. I will point out that your strength specialty won't let you reroll, won't give you extra 10s on damage unless it's very specifically like you're crushing somebody's head with your hands. And in general, like even if you took mighty blows, I wouldn't let you apply it unless you were like, I am trying to do a very specific action with my sword. Like in normal combat, you wouldn't be able to apply your strength specialty on damage unless it's very specifically like, I've got a huge sword. If you could take mighty blows and be like, mighty blows, it would count if it was your like massive fucking like sword and you were doing a huge strike, then it would apply. But but that's it.
But like also, you know, like I'm trying to crush like a metal, you know, not a can, like obviously something larger, whatever, like a mailbox or something. I'm trying to crush a mailbox. I think that would work. Stamina as well for a specialty here. I think I like resilient.
So resilient
as
would mean your ability to take a licking and keep on ticking. That somebody would like knock you down and you would get back up. So Ray actually has this stamina
Yep.
specialty at the moment.
God damn it, Kim. But I think that sounds right, you know, sort of this like slow moving, can't be stopped kind of.
Happy Kilmore, that would be the stamina specialty enduring, and stamina for enduring would be a thing that my older sister for a while had an email address that included stamina for enduring. So
Oh boy. Oh my.
Okay, so now we have to come up with your musing threshold.
Yes.
Your musing threshold is what you basically the easiest way for you to recover glamour, right? When you're musing a dreamer. So your musing threshold could be inspire creativity, create hope, create love, create calm, foster trust, help those in need, foster dreams.
Where's crush the heads of my enemies? Just kidding. Help those in need 100% covers the bases that I think need covering here. You know?
Now
Have
you
an
also
idea for-
need an antithesis.
Ooh.
Antithesis would be something that happens to you, something that triggers a banality roll for you. It's a banality trigger that's specific to you. So, for instance, Liz's antithesis, or Lady Sophia's antithesis, is feeling unclean. Some other
Okay.
examples of antithesis would be interfering with the play of children, breaking an object of great beauty, wearing a suit and tie on her mortal body, giving someone a false compliment. It's just a thing that's a little bit banal, but like it just has that little bit of extra for you.
A little extra hint. I want the antithesis to relate to cowardice. So not like I'm talking to a coward, but like perhaps it's something to witnessing a deliberate act of betrayal through cowardice. Is that too specific?
That's a little too specific. I would definitely be like, I would say gross cowardice.
Great.
So what I would say, gross cowardice isn't like somebody pulls out a gun and somebody's like, oh no, like that's not gross cowardice. Gross cowardice would be like somebody insults you and you walk up to them and you're like, what did you say? And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Here's my money and I'll leave now. Ugh. Like that would be like, oh, like
It's disgusting.
you started something and you couldn't finish it. Like you asshole. So I would say gross cowardice would be a good one.
I'm loving it.
So at this point, we're looking pretty done. We haven't gotten into your back history, but we already have some ideas. We know that there's something that happened in your life that we're going to have to get through. But we'll discuss that. Otherwise, your sheet is complete, as near as I can tell.
Great. I have some ideas in terms of like mortal life as well, so we can kind of touch base on those, you know. But yeah, that does look good. The only thing is whether I'm gonna call myself Kevin or not. Really, I think is where we're at here.
Yeah, you don't have a name.
There's one section. Okay, John, Kavane, is this this would be a Fey name, yeah? Not like a mortal name.
It could be one or both. Doesn't
Okay.
matter. Like Sophia could very well be her changeling name and her real name
Yeah,
if she
that's
wanted
true,
it to be. Specifically, I want the name that you would relate to Changeling Society with, but it could also be your mortal name. That's up to you.
okay. Well, I'd like to go with with an M. So like Braun, like sorry, Braum.
Braum.
Yeah.
So you're naming yourself after a League of Legends character.
Am I actually? Oh,
Yes, you are.
Christ.
That's fine. I don't
Well,
know.
the Google hits will go through the roof,
Hey,
John.
hey, Liz is the one who decided to name her character Rey right after Force Awakens came out. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing for her to do. It's just I don't care. Names have been used everywhere.
Well, for sure. That's how names roll, right?
Yeah.
And then Gwyian, I guess.
Liz has no regrets.
Or regrets.
Yes, you would
or-
be ap Gwyian. She would be Sophia ap Liam. You are Braum ap Gwyian, but that doesn't go in your name. That's part of your house. So that's it. There's Braum.
There he is, guys. Lots of 3 dots, lots of blankies. Oh, but he's got Jack of all trades. What up? So cool. Okay. Yeah.
So there we go.
This is very exciting, John. I'm glad I was kind of able to like, because I without getting we're past time at this point, but like without getting too much into it, I had a jumping off point, and I was like, I think this is what this is going to be like, and I'm just glad to have your guidance in terms of like, I wonder if someone like this would be able to have this kind of flaw or this kind of house allegiance or whatever it is, right?
Mhm. So I'm definitely looking forward to Braum's story as well, Diamondback. I like this character. I feel this character's got legs. I think this character is very distinct, not only from Lady Sophia, but also from any character I've seen you play, which is interesting on my end. And I've been playing with Scott for a while.
That is true. Come on in, let me fix up your hair.
Krister, we definitely already have our cynical world weary Frenchman, but we'll see. In the meantime, tomorrow, it is very possible that Kate will make an attempt to stream Catch Up Kate, more of the Talos Principle, although I'm not sure when that will be. Tomorrow is also opening night.
What up
for the detective, the dame, and the devil. Available at the Montreal Fringe Festival, written and starring Scott Humphrey.
And Elizabeth A. Neal. And someone else who's not
and
in the
Kate
chat
shows
right
up.
now. And Kate, yay! Hello. Oh, hey. Flip.
On Friday, there will not be Punchy at its usual time, but early in the afternoon we'll get some Punchy out of the way, and then there will be a Steel stream Friday afternoon, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But I believe it's 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight that you were planning on doing that, Liz? Let us know. Saturday, again, there will not be a story stream, I don't believe, but there will be something on Sunday. Join me for a very special RPG clinic where I will have 2 guests, my mods in this channel, the illustrious Captain Daff and she who knows 10,000 things, Aragorn, as we discuss Exaltwitch as it reaches its close and the beginning of Changeling the streaming. Noon or 1 or something. Check Twitter. Flight by carrier pigeon. So there will be another RPG clinic available for you at that time. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. You've met Braum. We're going to see what we can do so that you get to know him a little better later on.
Ooh.
Thanks so much for tuning in. And thank you, Scott, for joining me.
I'm so happy to have been here, John. Over das Moon.
See you later.